So Hoopa just got released to Pokemon Unite and I'm sitting here thinking, why? The other day when I saw the release trailer of this new Pokemon, I wanted to ball up and cry. Hoopa is super insane and I'm honestly not ready to go against 5 stacks using him. So I was definitely not expecting this release, especially of a Pokemon this strong and complex, but they did and I'm kind of excited and scared of what is to come. Today though, I just want to break down Hoopa's moves, his best combos, and items to use on him, so let's get into it. So Hoopa is a ranged supporter that mostly relies on his abilities to help allies maneuver the map and strong boosted attacks. The items best suited for him, to me, is Buddy Barrier for extra HP, Muscle Band to get your boosted attacks as soon as possible to stun enemies, and maybe Score Shield. I know some people who run special attack items on him to deal more damage with Shadow Ball, Phantom Forces, or Hyperspace, but I personally like to keep my supports tanky, so I'm gonna go and keep it simple with Score Shield. So onto the abilities, I'm gonna break them all down because Unite likes to release long essays of move combos and it can be really overwhelming for a lot of players. So I'm going to go ahead and break each move down. Level 1 and 3, you have Astonish and Confusion. Astonish deals damage and stuns enemies in the AoE. This move can be really good to steal wild Pokemon early game. Confusion is the other skill, which is kind of like Gardevoir's Confusion, except Hoopa's actually sticks to the enemy and explodes after a while. This move can also decrease the movement speed of any Pokemon in an explosion radius. Hyperspace Hole places a portal that lets any Pokemon in it teleport to base and return to the original area of the portal. Whenever you are a teammate teleport, you get an increased movement speed. You can also use hyperspace on your goal to teleport between top and bottom path, but keep in mind once you teleport to top or bottom, you can't go back. Also, fun fact, you can use hyperspace on top or bottom goals even if one is broken, but you can't use it on your base goal. So as you can see, this move is really busted and the potential of Hyperspace Hole is actually really insane. You can shred Dreadnought and easily teleport to the top path for Rotom, or if a teammate is low HP, they can quickly get teleported back to base, take a quick breather, and then come back to the original place of the portal. This move will be super helpful for junglers and teammates as well, because they can easily jump between top or bottom path to help teammates. Anyway, moving forward to the other ability upgrade, Trick creates a link between Hoopa and an ally Pokemon, which grants them both shield and increased movement speed. Since you are linked to a Pokemon, whenever you use Shadow Ball or boosted attack, the ally Pokemon releases the same move. Super simple move, but it can be really easy to want to spam the ability rather than choose a specific Pokemon to link to. So make sure when you're using this, you're aware of which teammate you're going to give it to and why. So you wouldn't want to give it to like a Eldegoss who is backline when you have a Talonflame who is pushing forward to the enemy. So just be really aware and use the ability really smart. Onto the Astonish move upgrades, Phantom Force or Shadow Ball. Both of these are pretty simple as well, but with any Pokemon, just be aware when to use the abilities and don't get too anxious. Phantom Force lets Hoopa teleport to enemy Pokemon, leaving a portal behind and dealing damage while shoving them. Hoopa then fires 2 flames that deal damage and slows the Pokemon. If you use Phantom Force again, you teleport back to the original location of the portal, and if there is an ally Pokemon linked to you nearby by Trick, then they can teleport to the portal's location as well. They also recover HP, which I thought was kind of neat. So if you have a jungler who is running away because he's low HP, maybe you place down the portal and they can teleport to it. The other ability is Shadow Ball, which unleashes a shadowy blob that deals damage, slows Pokemon, and decreases their special defense. This move reminds me of Zenyatta from Overwatch, which if you play it, you know with Zenyatta, you give an enemy an orb and they take extra damage from allies. Hoopa is kind of similar since he reduces the special defense and you can easily melt a lot of Pokemon who aren't really aware of Shadow Ball's potential, because they get the Shadow Ball orb, they have a weakened special defense, so you can easily just melt them without them really suspecting anything, because a lot of people don't know how good Hoopa is and how good Shadow Ball is yet. But yeah, it has a lot of potential, this move, so just be really careful when you're going against a Hoopa using Shadow Ball, and just be careful when using it yourself, because you want to be aware of who you're giving Shadow Ball to, the Shadow Orb to, and calling out like calls to your teammates like, hey, this person has the Shadowy Orb, attack them since they have like a weakened special defense. One additional thing about Shadow Ball is if a teammate is linked with Trick, then they will release a Shadow Ball when Hoopa does. Like earlier when I talked about Trick, you link to a ally Pokemon, and whenever you do a boosted attack, they release the same boosted attack. Or whenever you use like Shadow Ball, like I just explained now, they also release a Shadow Ball. So like I said earlier, just be aware of your teammates, which ones you're giving Trick to. When you're using Shadow Ball and giving callouts to your teammate like, hey, I'm going to use Shadow Ball, make sure you're pushing forward with me. And this is kind of why I say that Hoopa is definitely like a team player, and you're going to need communication when playing him, because moves like this, you can't really play solo queue with Hoopa and expect the teammate to be aware that they have Trick on them and that they're linked to you and that you're going to use Shadow Ball. This is why you're going to need 5 stacks when playing Hoopa, because solo queue is just pain and a lot of teammates aren't aware of the surroundings and other teammates who are trying to play with them. So yeah, play with teammates when you're using Hoopa. Now finally onto the Unite move. What makes this move so scary is that Hoopa actually changes forms when he uses it, and he becomes this thing. He also does a crazy amount of damage with a new set of moves, Side Beam and Hyperspace Fury. I'm not going to go too much into detail with these moves, but Hyperspace Flurry releases a flurry of fists in a designated location, while Side Beam releases a sweep of a laser beam. One of the most interesting things about Hoopa's Unite move is that teammates can warp to his location when he uses it. So yeah, don't try and fight Hoopa when he unites, because you're not going to be happy when a whole squad of his teammates pulls up through the portal. But now that I broke everything down, I hope you have a better understanding of Hoopa and how to use him. He is a really complicated Pokemon. He will only work with teammates with communication. The quick chat is just not going to cut it. This is why this Pokemon's release is really unfortunate for solo queue players like me, because Hoopa needs a coordinated team and solo queue players can just be really questionable. They just lack the awareness and, you know, the communications that 5 stacks have. So it's going to be a real disadvantage going against people who have Hoopa, who have comms, and just are much more coordinated than you and solo queue. But if you are lucky to have a team to play with, then I highly recommend picking up Hoopa and practicing different move combos with him until you find a playstyle suitable to you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing since it is free, and comment if you have any questions. And thanks for watching. Peace.